Welcome everyone. Today we'll have another gold making guide for Lost Ark, and in this guide we'll be looking into new method of market trading. As you can see behind me in the recording, I have been selling a lot of solar grace, solar blessing and also solar protection. So in this video, we have several new methods of trading, and I want to share the new trend and also new method with you guys. Because what I do is, usually I spend about 30 minutes a day for 2 days of the week, and this makes me about 20,000 to 30,000 gold. And I'll share with you guys the method of doing this. So depending on how much gold you have to invest and how much gold you can sell those items, you can still be making gold in the current version of the market, even though the price are very low. And in order to give you guys a better summary, I have decided to make examples to show you guys what are the trading points, how do I sell and how do I buy items. Because I think just going through the recording could be a little rushing, so I want to show you guys the exact mind work and also how do I predict the pricing of items and when should you be listing those items. So we have new additional notes about the new market trend, which we definitely have to go through this at the start, because it's going to be about 4 different market trends we have to understand. And some of those patterns are still following the weekly, daily, and also hourly reset patterns, which I'll be sharing with you guys in this video as well. And once we understand this, there is always opportunities for profit. And I'll be sharing with you guys my step-by-step trading strategies, which doesn't take much time each week, so we can be buying and also selling those items still to make a profit. Now this video will be broken down into several parts. The first part, I really want to share with you guys the market trend and also the things you should be aware when you're trading. After that, what I do is I'll briefly talk about the new method, and then finally I'll go through my step-by-step trading method of what I do each half hour for the day, and also we'll use the example over here. It's very important for you to understand the 3 different methods I'm sharing, and this way you can decide which method works for you and how much gold you want to make, because the more gold you make, the more risky it is. So usually I take the middle method, which I'll explain to you guys on the second part. Now, similar to all of the notes, those will be available onto the Google Docs for the Word document and also for the Excel for the patterns as well. So coming over to the first part, now what I do want to warn you guys is, because the market trend is always changing, I will try to update this particular method and also strategies every week to give you guys a better summary and more updated version of the market, because players will become aware of certain things and players have a different trend depending on the update, depending on the the amount of content, and also depending on what the players are planning. So the first thing is, we really need to be aware there are several trends that is currently in the game. And over here, I have ranked those with importance and also how much do affect the market. The first one is quite important. This is the demand trend. This is how much of the new content and also endgame update that is released with the patch notes and also what is coming in the game. If you guys remember with the aggros patch and also after 1 to 2 weeks after the aggros patch, there's a lot of price inflation and then the price starts to fall. This is because there's a higher demand during the aggros patch for players to go for 1,370 up to 1,470. So during that time, price will tend to go up, and this is what drives price like guardian stones, lip stones, and rare materials. And this is why players will plan to home after 1,400. So it's quite important to understand those trends will happen. And most of the time, those trends will happen usually on a Wednesday or a Thursday when a patch comes live with patch notes or roadmap. So we'll always be coming back to this, because after the initial spike of the inflation of pricing, items like guardian stones, destruction stones, and also lip stones, as you can see in the game, those items have started to fall because the inflation is going down. And if those prices are falling for those items, which are alternatives to rare materials that we're trading, the other price will also fall. So the price will go together. If everything goes up, then everything makes a lot of gold. Now, if those basic item price goes down, then eventually the rare material price will go down. So this is not the trend we can control, and usually we'll just be aware of this. I try to not trade during those windows, and I'll tell you guys on the second part. Now, the second trend for the market is quite straightforward. We have talked about this in the previous video. So if you come over here, you can see a map. The green areas is when we have the chaos gate, and the white areas is when we don't have the chaos gate. Previously, when I was making the video, I was using a very simple trend. So basically, we'll buy during the chaos gate, we sell during the time when there is no chaos gate. But this only follows a weekly trend. Now we need to be careful, there's also a daily and also hourly trend. So during the weekly trend, basically the prices of the homing materials will be cheaper during the green bars, and they will be more expensive during the white bars. but there's a complication to that because the market trend and also players' behavior have changed. And this is why this method still works, but we need to be careful because this trend is covered by the first demand trend. And it's quite important. I'll share with you guys how we plan to change that and also how to adjust a method. So the current weekly method still works, but this needs to be updated. Now coming over to the third market trend, which is going to be the day trend. So what I have noticed with players is most players tend to play in the morning when they wake up, and usually they play in the afternoon or night after finishing work or school, or after the day-to-day task is completed. So this means there will be a slight variation of price during the day as well. So let's say if even during the day of Wednesday, so throughout the day of Wednesday, the price might go up initially, then it might go down after, then it might go up again. So because this follows the lifestyle of the players, and this means that you can still be making profit by trading daily. So instead of trying to catch the weekly trend, which is more susceptible to the change of demand and also bigger changes, the day trend seems to be profitable, and this is what I have been testing. And over here you can see when I was looting the solar grace over here, this is trading by the week. This is trading with weekly trend combined with the daily trend, and this is the method I'm currently using. So this particular trend will follow the pattern and also lifestyle of the players. And finally, we have a new hourly trend. Now I'm sure most of you guys have seen this before. So basically during the time of each hour of the day when there's chaos gate, what's going to happen is players will be listing items for much cheaper. So come over to the example. So let's say the average price of item is about 25 gold. And when the chaos gate is available, so this is the time, basically this is the time, let's say it's 1 AM chaos gate. And for the 1 AM chaos gate, what we're going to see is around let's say 15 to 125. So those are the time windows, and during that time window, instead of selling at the average price, players will race to sell it for cheaper. They will sell it for 24, 23, or even 20 gold. And during this time, this is an hourly trend. So if you buy this at 20 gold and then you sell this around 25 gold, you'll be flipping or you'll be selling this for a small profit. And this is what I would want to share with you guys with the hourly trend. So players will tend to buy this at 20 gold and sell this at 24 gold for a quick profit. This is because each hour there is a chaos gate, but during those chaos gate, basically around this time interval for each of the hours, so about 15 minutes to 25 minutes window, this is when the players do chaos gate. Now when the new patch comes, this will change because the new patch will have maps times 4, right? So basically the time for this will change. We'll make update video when this comes. Currently players have to do 4 maps, and this is how long it will take them, 15 minutes together with the chaos gate and also mapping to start selling items. And when the new patch comes, they just have to do 1 map. So the timing for this will change. And basically players are doing the hourly trend to do a quick flipping of gold, and sometimes they can buy this at 19 gold or 20 gold, and they'll be selling this at 24 gold or 25 gold, and this usually sells if they're not too greedy. But there is a downside to the hourly trend method. This is because you're basically competing with everybody else. Whoever click the refresh the fastest, and whoever lists the item the fastest, whoever buys the item the fastest. And most of the time you don't get to buy the items. It's quite annoying and also hard, but it can be slightly profitable if you're short on gold. So we'll talk about this as well. What I usually do is I usually combine the daily trend and also weekly trend. I can pick up some cheap items during the hourly trend, but those are not very stable. So I still follow the median method, and those are the 3 methods following those trends. Now coming over to the second part, or the explanation part, I know the trends can be a little confusing, so I basically want to explain the new method. So the method we want to make is trying to minimize potential losses. Now I know some of you, including myself, have lost gold because the price will go up and down, and sometimes they go down by a lot. So we'll try to minimize the loss and also try to minimize how long we hold the items for. Because the quicker we sell the items, the more gold we get, and the more chance of us avoiding a lower market crash. So what I tend to do is we use the hourly trend to buy at each hour for a discount. This usually happens around 15 to 30 minutes of each hour. So this was a little typo. And basically this is during the time when there's a supply of chaos gate. So during the green bar areas, let's say if it's 1 p.m. So we'll be buying at 1:15 to 1:30 p.m. And during that time, prices of items seems to be cheaper. So you can be buying this basically hourly and get some discount. And then we really have to decide how we want to sell those items. And those are the 3 methods. You can be selling at an hourly trend, daily trend, or weekly trend. So let's come over here to the examples over here. I'll be using solar grace, and this is what us usually see. So I'm using a little example over here. So right now the price is a little different, but this is what you usually see. You click onto solar grace and you can see the current price and also how many amount remaining. Those are very important to understand because depending on the amount of remaining, this is how the price will shift accordingly. So this is what players usually see, and basically if you buy at a certain time window, you can be buying those items for discount. Now, knowing that prices will change throughout the day, what's going to happen is, so this is an expanded version of the price changing throughout the day. And this is what I do. Let's say currently you can see the average price for this example is 22.3 gold. So let's say if we come over to Solar Grace. You don't have to do this for Solar Grace, but I feel this is the easiest example. So you can see Solar Grace over here. The average price was 23.5 gold. Current market is 27 gold because it's a little inflated. So what we're going to see is, we come back to our example. The average price in this example is 22.3 gold. What I'll be trying to do is I'll be trying to buy everything that is under 22 or 21 gold. And during this time, usually I try to buy them at 19 gold or 20 gold if they're available. It is much harder to buy below 20 gold or 21 gold simply because this becomes a competitive clicking, and usually we don't get to buy a lot of them because people sell for 4 of them for 19 gold and you don't get to click fast enough. So usually I try to aim to buy below the market price. So let's say if yesterday's market price is 23 gold, I try to buy below 23 gold if I can. And after buying those items, now this is the 3 different methods I want to share with you guys. Now, if you're buying this hourly, notice that the supply of items are not very high. There's 45, there's 40 of those. So if you bought those 15 of the solar grace, you can be trying to sell them around this particular supply. So around 24 gold, you'll be making 2 gold. We'll come back to this after the calculation of the gold, how much gold do you make and how much fee you have to pay. So basically over 20 gold, you'll be paying 2 gold of fee. So if I buy at 20 gold, I sell at 24 gold, I'll be making 2 gold per trade. So if I buy 15 of those items and selling at 24 gold, I'll be making 30 gold by doing this. Now, I know 30 gold is not a lot, but if you do this multiple times, let's say if you buy 100 of those at 20 gold and sell at 24 gold, this is how you can make, a few hundred gold by doing this. Now, this is more of an hourly trade because you're basically buying low and selling at a median point. So what I tend to do for myself is I try to buy low and I sell at a slightly higher point. So instead of trying to sell within every hour, what I do is I try to buy low and sell at every day. So I'll be buying about 20 gold. I'll be listing this about 27 gold. The gold difference I make is 5 gold per item. And this is a median way of trading because I can see there's a lot of people selling at higher gold and I try to not compete with them. But I know there's enough demand for those items to sell at this point. So this takes a little understanding of your market, and currently for NA West, for Valton, it seems to be working for me because I know each day the demand for solar grace is about 3,000 to 4,000. So if I am listing below about 3,000 of quantities of items, I can have my item to be sold. And by doing this following the daily trend, I can be buying about 20 gold and selling this about 27 gold. Make sure you do understand this is a case for your server because sometimes different regions might not fluctuate this much. I have had viewers telling me they are buying at 20 gold and selling at 23 gold because the only 1 gold profit they make is big enough for them. Simply because their server is not going up and down much in price, and you do want to spend maybe 1 to 2 days to observe this before you practice this method. Now the final method I want to share with you guys is going to be a little greedier with a weekly trade. So still the same method, you'll be buying around 20 gold and over here you'll be selling around 29 to 30 gold. And this is what I did basically during the final week of the sale. So notice I'm selling a lot of solar grace and notice I'm selling a big quantity of them, hundreds of being sold. So the only time I'm selling a lot of quantity and listing them for higher price is after the Tuesday KS gate closing off. So during this time, the demand and also price will go up dramatically. And as of today, so yesterday's price, I was buying those at 22 gold and I sold my solar grace at 29 gold. So notice that I couldn't get those at 20 gold. I was buying those at 22 gold, but I know I can sell those at 29 or 30 gold. So this is following a weekly trend. And this weekly trend only happens twice a week. So there's a smaller window and also a bigger window. So we'll come back to the windows as well. So you can see the 3 methods of trading. Basically, you'll follow the cheapest method of buying items. And you'll be selling those at different intervals of the hour, different intervals of the day, or different intervals of the week. And depending how greedy and how much profit you want, this would, determine how you want to do this. And finally, I do want to warn you guys, don't get too greedy to list it for too high. Notice that just by getting 1 or 2 extra gold per item, you'll be competing with another 3,000 players to sell those items. And you don't want to be stuck with too many quantities at this particular amount. So I never list my item for like 31 gold after seeing this about 3,600 quantities over here. Now, in order to give you guys a little more information and also more notes and also more tips, so you have seen the hourly, daily, and also weekly trade. So over here, I do have some tips with seeing the market and also the resistance. So I talk about the resistance and also demand. So the resistance over here is just basically how much people are listing at this quantity of items. Usually you want to kind of have a grasp of the demand of the items in your server. So what I do is actually I'll go on to my second account, my second character. I'll show you guys how I determine the demand of items. So while that is loading, I'll quickly talk about the fees of items. The item I'm currently trading will be Solar Grace, Solar Protection, and also Solar Blessing. Different items have a different fees. But let's use this example. Let's say if Solar Grace is selling for 28 gold. So if you divide 28 by 20, you get 1.4. Now anything that is over 1, it becomes 2 gold of fee. So if you're selling anything between 20 gold to 40 gold, this will cost 2 gold of fee. This is why at the point I was saying, if you buy items for 20 gold and sell it at 24 gold, you only make 2 gold because you'll be paying 2 gold as fee. It's quite important to understand this because if you start to buy items at 22 gold and sell at 24 gold, you're actually not making any gold and you're just taking a small risk and also not making any profit. So it'll be a waste of time. So make sure you're actually making some profit by selling those items after the fee of the market. Now that my second character has loaded, what I want to show you guys is, I want to show you guys how I determine the demand of the server. Notice the Solar Grace, I will try to determine if the Solar Grace will sell. So I'm doing similar things with Solar Blessing but with wider intervals. So notice I'm listing 1 item at each level. So 30 gold up to 35 gold. This will show me that yesterday, those items did not sell at 30 gold. I sold about 8,000 or 800 Solar Grace for about 29 gold, and I made a really good judgment call because I know it's very difficult to sell those at 30 gold. Now the price has going back to 25 gold. So notice at 29 gold, there was about 1,200 people selling, and I was one of those people that actually sold items. By 30 gold, there's a few thousand more people selling at 30 gold. So this is how I usually determine the demand of the server. So for a few days, I'll be listing one of those items for those amount of gold. And overnight, over the day, when I come back, I can see, okay, if I buy at 25 gold, I can't sell it at 30 gold. I can sell this at 29 gold. So this is how you test your server. And you can do this without losing too much gold because it only costs you 1 gold of each item. And when you come back, you can look at which one sold, which one didn't sell. And you can tell yourself, okay, so if I bought those items at 23 gold, and then if I sell those at 29 gold, I'll be making 4 gold of profit because 2 gold is paid in fees. So this is how I determine the demand of the server and also the market trend each week. Now, finally, I have something really important to share with you guys. And this point is very, very important. I do think I should highlight this one because, no matter how you trade, you're susceptible to losses because, sometimes if you buy item, let's say, for example, if you bought Solar Grace for 26 gold and they're not selling and the current price is like 25 gold and you're actually losing gold because the market is no one's buying those. How do you minimize your loss? This is very important. And I do want to spend some time talking about this. So let's say if I have 2,000 Solar Grace on my inventory, I don't want to just throw my Solar Grace. Let's use the example over here. So I bought those Solar Grace at 26 gold. Current price is 25 gold. And it's likely I'm not going to make my money back. And I'm looking at a loss, right? So basically I'm looking at losing gold. And what I want to do is I don't want to just chuck my 2,000 Solar Grace at 25 gold because players will not buy this. Players will start to list this for 24 gold and this will just crash the market. So what you want to do is instead of trying to sell everything at 25 gold, I'll be listing about 40 to 30 of those at 25 gold and I'll wait for this amount to sell. So this is the quantity I'm listing. And each time I'm drip fitting the market. So each time the market sees that there's only about 20 or 30, they will buy this off the market. I'll give you guys an example over here. So this is to prevent us from losing too much gold. So current gold is 26 gold. Let's say if I want to rush sell all my solar grays at 25 gold. So I'll be coming over here and I don't have any solar grays tweak. So I'll be coming over here and I'll be listing the solar grays for 25 gold. And I won't list, 2,000 of them. I'll list about 40 of them. And when those 40 sell, I'll list for 40 more of them. So basically, I will take my time to sell 2,000 of items by listing only 40 to 30 of those one at a time. So this will not trigger the market to crash the market, because you don't want to crash the market yourself and making even a bigger loss. I've seen a lot of players panic selling, and what they do is they just dump everything at one interval. This will crash the market for themselves and everybody else. But if they take maybe half hour to sell those at 20, 30 quantities each, this will dramatically reduce their loss, and this will help them to make a better profit. So you can do this similar method in making profit. Let's say if I buy this at 26 gold, the price is 30 gold. So instead of 30 gold, so let's say if this is a profit, right? Instead of selling this at 30 gold for like 2,000 of them, I can be selling about, let's say I can be selling 30 to 40 of those at 30 gold. And if I have the time, I do this for half hour. And by selling this for half hour, I will make the profit instead of crashing the market and pushing the price down to 29 gold. Because if we come back to the market over here, notice what happens. If you sell everything at 30 gold, everyone will list below you. Everyone will try to list at 29 gold. And you're going to push the market down. You're going to have a harder time to sell your items if you dump everything in one go. Now over here, I also have some notes about step-by-step trading strategies, and I have explained this previously. And just before we finish, I'll quickly explain the basic logic over here. So what I do is I trade 2 times a week. So between Sunday to Monday. So this is a window. Basically, I'll be buying items around Sunday to Monday. And during this window, I'll be buying those items for discount. And also I'll be buying items on Thursday and also Friday. So basically Thursday and also Friday. And I know I'll be selling at this window. So this is a smaller window. Now during the bigger window and also smaller windows, I will decide whether I want to sell fast or I want to sell during the day. And over here, if I want to sell for one day, so the bigger window is going to be buying around Sunday and also Monday. I'll be selling after Tuesday. I'll try to sell by Wednesday. So during this window, I'll list items for 10 to 25% price, depending on the market, because I know the market will usually go down and up by 10%. So just to show you guys over here, you can see that the market yesterday was about 24 gold or 23 gold. Now today is about 26 or 27 gold. So the market will go up and down by 20% if you count the downward. So I was buying those at 22 gold and selling those at 29 gold. So by doing this on the larger scale, so basically I'll be selling those around this time, and I'll be selling this about 10 to 25%. And then for Friday, I'll be trying to make a smaller margin of profit. So basically, I'll be buying this on Thursday and also Friday and selling between those periods for a smaller margin of profit, as low as 10 to 15%. This is because, guys, I'm doing a daily trade. I do not want to be catch up by the loss of price of the market falling. So basically, I'll buy at this point, I'll be selling at this point. The other method, this one gives you quicker gold but less profit. This one gives you more profit but higher risk. So those are the 3 methods I want to share with you guys. Now I know, guys, the video is a little long. I'll try to make it a little shorter, but there's so much I want to share and so many strategies I want to share with you guys. The biggest focus of the trading strategies now is going to be minimizing the potential losses. Because we're trading quicker, we're having quicker turnover, we'll avoid the losses. And also, just before we finish, I do want to share with you guys the tier 3 materials will continue to drop in price overall. This is simply because there's more players getting to tier 3 and also more odd characters will get there. So as we can see with the prices, the price of those items average price have been falling. Even though there's spikes that either trade at a certain time of the day, you can see the pattern of those prices. They have been falling. So be aware of this when you're trading. You don't want to be caught in a bigger wave and holding items for too long. You do want to sell them hourly or maybe, in a day or two. You don't want to be holding items for too long. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure you do so, because we'll be getting a lot of guides, a lot of tips as I discover them, and I love the game. So I want to share as much as I can with you guys, and let's have a great time in Lost Ark as we explore this game and get the most out of it.